Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. At this time, we'll call to order the Wednesday, August 6th meeting of the Orange County Mid-Decennial Redistricting Advisory Committee. Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Member Jackson. Member Kilsheimer. Member De La Portilla. Member Arias. Member Callahan. Member Washington. Here. Member Baga. Here. Member Jones.
Here.
Co-Chair Perez.
Here.
Co-Chair Evans.
Here.
Member Spears.
Here.
Member Affont.
Presente.
Member Pizzini.
Present.
Member Henry. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Thank you very much. At this time, we'll begin with our public comment portion of the meeting. To begin that portion, we will acknowledge some electronic public comments that were received. First, from Willie Nichols, as well as from Pamela D. Caldwell and Zach Alfson. So we thank them for submitting their comments in that manner. If you are in the room and like to participate in our public comment, we ask that you provide a completed public comment card to members of our staff. We will begin with the ones that we have in hand already. When you are called to the podium, please note that you will have 3 minutes to speak, and we will ask that you begin by sharing your name and your address. Before we jump into our public comments, I do want to acknowledge Commissioner Uribe, who is here. Ms. Commissioner, would you like to greet us tonight?
Good evening, board members of our redistricting committee. I don't know where my 2 members are. Hopefully they're making it in here, Mr. Callahan and Mr. Arias. But all of you distinguished board members, I want to thank you. I want to thank the public. I missed the meeting. I believe it was last week. We had a town hall meeting with some of our local representatives. But I'm starting to hear, and I'm seeing this, is people are looking at certain maps that they like and certain maps that they agree with. And I'm asking you all here at the board to really try to look at this outside of these singular specific areas. Because while you are looking at certain things and you want to assure representation, let's not overlook other areas of possible future representation. And it worries me. This county is growing so quickly. We continue to have land use cases, multi-housing, single-family housing, university beds being built. UCF is creating multiple university beds. And so what we're going to see is we're just going to see so much growth, and we're seeing a mix of growth. Even now, when I looked recently at numbers at how many Hispanics have actually moved into the Pine Hills corridor, and that's a real issue in trying to secure that those communities are represented by the communities that majority live there or have an opportunity to be elected. Let's just say that, because I don't believe anything defines you to get into office, but having an opportunity to be able to qualify with your peers. But I ask you to also just look at other areas of the county. While we may gain in one, we don't want to risk losing everything in another. And as I'm looking at maps, and I don't want to give an opinion, there are about 2 maps that I particularly like. I will be out of office, so this will not affect me. So I am only standing here as looking at the future of my community and my district that now will probably not be, more than likely will not be 1 area. It will be 2, possibly 3, that there is an opportunity to get people elected who really have some sort of consensus and compatibility with those communities. So I just ask you, as we're passionate about certain areas, that we're respectful and equally passionate as other, because while we gain in one, we don't want to give it all up and lose somewhere else. But I want to commend you because I'm hearing the community wanting to have their voice heard. I enjoy hearing the community being concerned of the increased development and making sure that they have a voice over the next 10 years. But also, let's not lose the voice or dilute areas that'll take away a vote that currently exists. So thank you all. I respect you all. I have been looking at the maps as they've been going on. I know you're no longer accepting new ones, so I'll be interested to look at these remaining ones that continue to flow. But just be open, because there is no opportunity to put in any more maps. So just let's not be so quick. Let's really try to look at it holistically and think of it long term, not just today, but what the next 5 years will look like for Orange County. Thank you all again. Appreciate you all.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. Commissioner Wilson's here. Would you like to address us? Thank you. Well, thank you for attending. Any others? All right, well, we will jump into our list from our members of the public. We are going to start, as I mentioned, you'll have 3 minutes. If you come to the podium, share your name and address, and then we'll give you your 3 minutes. Our first 3 speakers, if you'll line up in order, Ms. Tangela Johnson-Chimney, Ms. Angela Trapp, and Ms. Rose Henderson.
Madam Chair, just as a point of order, we also have a city commissioner from Winter Park here.
I do apologize. Can we, would you like to speak at this time? Okay.
He's got a speaker card.
Okay, that's fine, thank you. But thank you, Member Henry. Ms. Johnson-Chimney, thank you. And then after that, we'll have Ms. Angela Trapp and Ms. Rose Henderson.
Good evening. My name is Tangela Johnson-Chimney. My address is 14568 Sipland Road in Winter Garden, Florida. That is in the Tildenville unincorporated Orange County. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity tonight to be able to come and share with you all the reasons why we continue to choose Washington 2 map. Is due to the fact that we want to not be separated from Oakland, East Winter Garden, and Ocoee. Horizon West is a growing population. It's becoming one of the state-of-the-art areas out there, and we just want to keep the connection with our historic cities over on the west side of Orlando, incorporated Orange County. As I shared before, I was born and raised in Tildenville. My family resides there in Tildenville. And we know it was Harlem Heights back then before it became Stony Brook, all those other little areas back there where we grew up on the dirt roads and things like that. Horizon West, they have their own little populated area, coming out there. They have all this up and new coming state-of-the-art, libraries and parks and stuff. Where we in Tildenville, we've asked for many things, and it's always a problem for us getting things out there. So if it's going to continue to be that type of problem, we just need to stay connected with the ones that we know that we could stay connected with. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chimney. Thank you, Ms. Chimney. Our next speaker is Ms. Angela Trapp, followed by Ms. Rose Henderson, and then followed by Commissioner Warren Lindsley.
Yes, good evening. My name is Angela Johnson Trapp. My address is 1343 Avalon Road, Tildenville, Orange County. Thank you for allowing me, giving me the opportunity for choosing Washington 2 map. I am a member of Tildenville Safe Neighborhood. I was born and raised in Tildenville, and I just was preferring that Tildenville be kept with Oakland, East, and Winter Garden, and Ocoee. In 1960, Mr. Tom West, he was a contractor. He owned a lot of fruit out there in Ocoee, Florida, and that was my father. He worked with Mr. West, and he blessed my mother and my father with the property at 1343 Avalon Road in 1960. And so I really, want to keep that all together, just to remember how Mr. West was a blessing to my family, my mother, my father. The house is still yet there. And I just want to, be able to keep the community together, Oakland and Winter Garden and Ocoee, because that's where Mr. West came from. And, and I think he passed and gone, like my mother passed and gone, my father. And so he was a great, hero there in the Tildenville community. So if y'all could just keep that, in your head, please, and we keep Tildenville and all these people together, okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. Our next speaker will be Ms. Rose Henderson, followed by Commissioner Warren Lindsley, and then by Mr. Randy Knight, City Manager.
Good evening. My name is Rose Henderson. My address is 2 Massey Avenue, Winter Garden, Florida. As well as Tildenville, unincorporated Orange County. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to give my input and consideration on such an important matter. I'm going to try not to talk with my hands because it takes too long. Again, after studying and looking at the maps that were submitted, I still choose the Washington 2 map. I'm a member of Tildenville Safe Neighborhood and the Retirees and Friends of Orange County. Horizon West has become a modern city within an old historic city or communities. The Washington 2 map, it separates and keeps us from being eaten up, such as old historic Winter Garden at Oakland, Tildenville, and surrounding communities. Horizon West and needs and growth seem to be far different than what we require in old, quaint Winter Garden. I was born on Tucker's labor camp. Yes, that's Tucker's camp that's becoming a park, a state-of-the-art park. My father worked for Judge Pete Tucker and Mr. Thurman Tucker as a ranch hand, breaking horses and coming up with the Angus beef cows. He moved to Florida in the early 50s because it was being told in Louisiana that money grew on trees. Of course, it was the orange trees. Because of so much rapid growth, it is so hard to find or comprehend that orange trees and orange groves once existed in Central Florida. I was baptized in Black Lake because our church did not have a pool back then. I spent many summers on John Lake fishing with my father, which I hate fishing today. The water at that time was so pristine and clean so that you could see the bottom of the lake. We could drink out of the lake. We saw minnows swimming. We could fish, catch the fish, and fry the fish on John Lake or Black Lake. I don't know what it's being called now. There were no traffic lights at Highway 50, Colonial Drive, or 545. In the 60s, we could play hopscotch, roller skate on Highway 45, Black Lake Road, or whatever, and we could hear the cars coming from Highway 50 or Colonial Drive. Our neighbors, we knew each other because of family history and ties. We tried to help each other so much. We shared our gardens, we shared animals, chickens, and so forth. There's a large tree right now that's on Tucker's new camp. My father put a pig under there and raised it to eventually taking it to the slaughterhouse that was in Ocoee, Florida, that no longer exists anymore, which is gone but not forgotten. I'm just talking about an old way of life that needs to be somehow slowed down. And I'm sure my time is up.
It is.
I will be back with part 3.
All right. We appreciate your continued participation, Ms. Henderson.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Commissioner Lindsley from the City of Winter Park.
Good afternoon or good evening. My name is Warren Lindsley. My address is 871 Dixie Parkway, Winter Park, Florida, 32789. I'm here as a city commissioner and a representative of the beautiful, wonderful city of Winter Park. And in Winter Park, we're very proud to be residents of Orange County. I've been a resident here for 40 years, raised 3 children and now grandchildren here, and we are very grateful for the important task that you all are embarking on right now. I love the prior speakers. They were terrific. The lady that just spoke, we agree with her. Winter Park's #1 selection is Washington 2 also, you know, and for sort of similar but different reasons than the lady that just so eloquently spoke. We believe that Winter Park should, or the district that's being considered by you, which would be consistent with Washington 2, reflects kind of the more urban and strong mix of residential and commercial facilities. And we've looked at this very carefully. My other fellow commissioners, one of which spoke, I think, the last time, Commissioner Craig Russell, who is a lifelong resident of Orange County and lifelong resident of Winter Park, who is a high school teacher at Winter Park High School and a coach there, and our mayor and the other commissioner, we are united in our request that Washington 2 be our #1 choice. We prefer not to be in a district that extends all the way to the St. Johns River in Brevard County because we have different interests, different needs, our citizens, than those, fellow Orange County residents that are in those districts. And our great city manager, Randy Knight's going to speak in a minute. But just to reiterate, our number one choice is Washington 2. We love Alphont 1 also. We think that would be a good choice. The other ones that we would like, if those are not selected, we like Kilsheimer 6, Jackson 1, Spears 5, and Spears 6. And thank you all very much for all you're doing, and thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Mr. Knight?
Yes, thank you. I'm Randy Knight, City Manager, Winter Park, 401 South Park Avenue, Winter Park. I spoke last week, and so I'm not going to repeat what I said, and I agree with, of course, with Commissioner Lindsley and what he said, but also listened last week, and I heard the people that supported Henry 1 and the very good reasons why they support that. So, and I heard the committee talk about possibly morphing some of these maps as you deliberate over the next few weeks. So I just ask that as you do so, you listen to what Commissioner Lindsley said, and you maybe if you take Henry 1, for example, and you put portions of Winter Park instead of in that group that goes all the way to Brevard County line, split us up into what that one has. I think is 7 and 3, I think it is, on each side of it. And I know that makes a lot of cheese and crackers move around, but you could still accomplish what they're looking for in Henry 1 and accomplish what Winter Park and others may want to, like the Washington 2 map does. So same thing with the Baga 2 map, and it groups Winter Park all the way to the end of Apopka and the Lake County line. And so that really puts us in a group that's has different interests, different needs. They're faster growing. They're a lot more rural areas, whereas Winter Park is built out and confined. So as you're doing that deliberation, we just ask that you look at maybe carving us out of some of those that go all the way to the other borders. I think there's one tonight that even goes all the way down to the Osceola County line, and the district Winter Park would be in. And we don't think that suits us well. We thank you for the hard work you got ahead of you. Thank you for doing it, and good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. Our next speaker is Matteo Schutte, Bertina Bush, and then Noel Bush. And you'll each get 3 minutes. I apologize if I spoke anyone's name without perfection. Come on up, sir. And likewise, if you have not submitted a public comment card, please do so we can proceed through this process as efficiently as possible.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone in here. I spoke last week, and this week I'm going to be very short. I just want to say thank you. First of all,
I'm sorry, your name and
Matteo
address.
Schulte, 4450 Cluster Drive, Orlando, Florida. Again, thank you for your service. I know it's not been easy. It's not going to be easy in a couple of weeks because it's a lot of maps to choose from. As some of the other members have spoken, I'm in favor of Washington 2 for a reason. Is keeping a lot of the communities together, and they're not spraying the communities apart. Some of the maps that I've shown that I have looked through it, they're doing the opposite. They're actually separating communities and cutting communities in half when that doesn't go with basically our plan, what we want to do. It's enough already trying to divide us. The country itself is divided. Where we're creating with this, the redistricting, a lot of people is creating a division, and people see it as an attack to each person, as an attack to each community and each member. So when you guys, go back and look over all these maps, just remember, you guys are part of the community as well. You're part of the district. So think very hard of your choice that you guys are going to make. Washington 2 is a great map. There are a few other maps that you guys are going to be looking this evening. I think Spear 6 is a great map, and Henry 2 is a great map because they shows that what they be working on. Thank you, and again, have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. All right, we've got Ms. Bertina Bush, followed by Mr. Noel Bush.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Bertina Bush. I live at 3540 South U.S. Highway 1792 in Castleberry. My zip code is 32707. But I am a longtime resident of Pine Hills, 38 years, 25 years founder and co-editor of the Pine Hills Press, 30 years board member of the Pine Hills Community Council, founding member of the Pine Hills Safe Neighborhood Partnership, founding board member of the Pine Hills YMCA and the Evans High School Community School, and founding and current board member of the Pine Hills Seniors. I'd like you to consider very seriously Henry 3, because it's homogeneous, contiguous, compact, and keeps the local communities of common interest working, building, and advocating together. This community has been advocating together for over 30 years. It needs to be kept. In the past, it has had 2 commissioners. Presently, we feel at this time, the way the map is constructed, it focuses on the unincorporated individuals in this district. I believe it's important because it leaves the Pine Hills Trail and its connection with the Cross County Trail in one district for the ease of maintenance and oversight. Now, I'm talking about the planning that's already gone into this area. It puts the Pine Hills Main Street Town Center intersection at Pine Hills Road and Silver Star Roads in one district for better continuity. Some maps have the line drawn right down the middle of the town center. And then Kirkman Road originates at West Colonial and Pine Hills as Chinatown, runs south past Universal Studio and International Drive to the Convention Center. Actually, Pine Hills, this whole area, it's a vertical map. It represents actually a tourist area. This whole area supports our tourist industry. As you view this road, Kirkman Road is a defining travel destination, tourist corridor in a single district, makes for a more comprehensive planning and development focus. Coordinated district planning, we have a new Pine Hills Links bus hub, will offer greater access for a workforce. We have 80,000 people in the greater Pine Hills area. It would support our workforce, would support the tourism venues, healthcare industry, professionals for school and offices. And also the city of Orlando is growing west along Silver Star Road from the packing district. And it would be a great asset to Orlando for this district corridor to be included in one district for development, conversations, improving for this. And if you consider it, just consider it as a transportation tourist hub. This should be looked at all together in terms of planning.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bush. All right, our next speaker is Mr. Noel Bush, followed by Cheryl Soraniano, then by Cara Blanco. Mr. Bush.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak in behalf of
Mr.
Henry.
Bush, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Will you
I'm
give us
sorry,
your...
Noel
It's
Bush, 3540 South U.S. Highway 1792 in Castleberry, Florida, 32707. Having retired just a couple years ago, we moved from Pine Hills. And you can maybe take this as a bit of color commentary on the Henry 3 map. The map, the challenge is to depict the reality, the underlying reality. And that is not easily depicted. I know you have a tough job to just look at the distribution of population and try to understand the nature of the community involved. And this community is a fabric of commercial avenues, of churches, schools, neighborhood organizations, you name it. It has every conceivable resource, YMCA. And the nature of this neighborhood, this narrow band, if you will, between the city of Orlando and the city of Ocoee, which we came to call Midtown, as we renamed Pine Hills Press, the Midtown Press. It is truly a unique area. It's virtually entirely unincorporated. And what would serve this community the best is also dedicated representation, which we have not had in the past. We've been divided in the past along Silver Star Road, and it made very little sense constantly working with two commissioners, trying to, have the difference, if you will. Working with one commissioner would make, in my estimation, a tremendous difference. We're also looking at the experience we've had, publishers of a newspaper for 25 years. Virtually all of our advertisers came from that area. Every time we sought to step out toward the city of Orlando or the city of Ocoee, we really didn't accomplish much. The advertisers are probably one of the best gauges, if you will, of the nature of a community. These are all small business owners, and there are literally hundreds of those small business owners in this area, in the proposed district. And they represent the very substance of the neighborhood because they don't invest where they're not people that are interested in their services or their products. So in terms of the commonality of the community, commonality of resources, commonality of needs, seems to me that the commonality of representation at the Orange County level would suit this community well.
Thank you very much. Ms. Soriano, you'll be next, followed by Ms. Cara Blanco, followed by Mr. Brad Lomneck.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening, Ms. Soriano. If you'll give us your name and address.
My name is Cheryl Soraniano. I'm at 6612 Aladdin Drive, Orlando, 32818. The job that I have in trying to determine which map works best has added a few extra hairs on my head. I am a native Floridian, I'll put it that way. And being a part of the Pine Hills area, I am a part of the Pine Hills Council. I'm also a part of the Claricona-Ocoee Council, and that puts me in a split position. There are areas in both of those districts that have worked well for us. We have worked very hard. When you think in terms of the POCO group, has worked very hard up in the west part of Orlando as far as the Claricona and from Pine Hills up. And the Pine Hills Council has worked very hard from Colonial up. So we have developed a great working relationship. And when I look at these maps, it makes it very difficult to try and decide where we would best fit. So I can't very well tell you which one, but I know that the Washington and the Henry III would help us with some tweaking from you. Now, I know there's a whole lot of stuff about the maps being solidified as they are, but as you work to finalize, take under consideration those areas that have already established camaraderie and workmanship so that we can continue to build in our areas of the Pine Hills, Claricona, Ocoee areas. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Soriano. We now have Ms. Cara Blanco, followed by Brad Lomneck, followed by Janet Buford Johnson. Hello.
Hey, Cara Blanco, 6016 Montel Court, District 2. I'm sure all these maps separate neighbor from neighbor, split HOAs and communities in half and thirds. And if those impacted residents couldn't care less about it, that's fine. And if they do care about this issue, but not enough to take the time to send emails or make calls or show up at these meetings, well, that's on them, that's fine too. But we, the people of Clark-Hunnicoe, are showing up because we are concerned and we care about how these maps could divide us and diminish our voice. Reiterating our comment from last week, that we agree that Henry 3 is an emphatic no, because not only does it split my neighborhood, Long Lake Shores, in half, the proposed boundary divides my property on Montel Court, so my immediate neighbors adjacent to me, behind me, and to the left would be in another district. In this round, maps Henry 2, Spears 5, Spears 6 are a yes, because they allow us in the Clark-Hunnicoe corridor from 441 to Hiawassee, adjacent north and south neighborhoods, to remain unified. We are doing grassroots activism to revitalize our area on Clark-Hunnicoe Road and voicing our need to be represented by one commissioner, not 2 or 3. We ask that you take our comments under consideration when making your map decisions tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. I had a Brad Lomneck next. Yeah. Ms. Buford Johnson, we'll get you next. And then after you will be Janet Sanglang.
Good evening, and thank you to the committee for your time and service on this important process. My name is Brad Lomneck. I live at 957 Veronica Circle in Ocoee, Florida. My wife and I have lived in Ocoee for over 16 years. She was born and raised in Ocoee. We've raised 2 wonderful children in Ocoee, and we've built strong relationships within the community and within our neighboring towns of Winter Garden and Oakland. I love Ocoee for its small town feel, while still offering the opportunity to be a part of something greater. Over the years, I've proudly served our city, the city of Ocoee, in several roles. Currently, as the chairman of the Planning and Zoning Commission. I've also been a member of the Human Relations Diversity Board, Parks and Rec. I was also honored to be appointed by Commissioner Christine Moore to be on the Tourism Development Tax Citizen Advisory Task Force. These roles have given me a front row seat to both the strength and the challenges facing our city. One of the biggest challenges is ensuring that Ocoee has a strong and respectful partnership with Orange County. That includes better coordination on county-controlled roads, increased access to infrastructure funding, support for septic to sewer, and a county government that respects the right of home rule. This is why I've brought here tonight. I would like to express my full support for the Washington 2 map. There are a ton of great maps out there, but I believe Washington 2 helps Ocoee keep that feel of the way we have been in the past in other redistrictings with Winter Garden. 2 cities have long shared common values, history, and priorities. We're stronger together. In fact, Ocoee and Winter Garden used to hold joint commission meetings to just to show how closely they're aligned their communities truly are. Being placed in the same district will strengthen our ability to collaborate, advocate, and work constructively in our county leadership on the issues that matter most. It's no coincidence that both of our mayors from Winter Garden and Ocoee have written formally to this commission requesting that our cities remain united. Washington 2 answers that call. We've also heard from Horizon West residents who are asking for a district tailored to their unique and growing needs. And from also residents of Winter Garden we've spoke to who feel they should not have to be grouped into a region defined by modern, large, upscale suburban development. Washington 2 delivers on both counts. This map reflects the voices of residents, requests of elected leaders, and the practicality that really is Ocoee. Please support Washington 2. Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much. Ms. Buford Johnson, we have you next, followed by Janet Sanglang and David C. I apologize to David. I cannot read your last name.
Good evening. My name is Janae Buford Johnson. I live in Orla Vista, 229 Ronnie Circle, Orlando, Florida. And I'm here in support of Henry 1 and as well as Henry 3. I think both of these maps consider the best options in our community and on the west side. And it has a lot of vibrant changes and diversity that the interests of the community that are there, a stronghold for all of us. So please consider, and again, I support Henry 1 and Henry 3. Both would be conducive to our communities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Janet?
Good evening. I'm Janet Sangling, and I live at 1021 North Hiawassee Road, Orlando 32818. I'm a realtor for the past 10 years, and I have lived with my husband in the Pine Hills for the last 7 years. As a realtor, Henry 3, the People's Map, would make the most since it addresses the growth we are seeing in our community. Orange County is growing rapidly, and this map addresses the opportunity for growth and fair representation for all of Orange County. I hope that this map, Henry 3, is approved to go to the next process. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you very much. My last two comment cards are for David Kaisedo, Caicedo. Okay, maybe he's not here. And so my next comment card is for Mr. Jim Callahan. I have no additional requests to speak. If you would like to, please provide a comment card. And Commissioner Scott will definitely get you. Oh. Mr. Callahan, we can go ahead and start with you. No, sir. Mr. Callahan, it's your turn. You can go ahead and approach the podium.
Jim Callahan. I live in Orlando, 204 East South Street. Here in support of Henry 2. I think it's an improvement on Font 1, which was excellent technically, but the problem was the Pine Hills District went a little too far east. And I think Henry 2 improves on that. Ideally, I'd like to move the Pine Hills District a little further west because it still, I think, includes Maitland and Henry 2. And Maitland's much more affluent than the rest of the district. I'm reasonably satisfied with District 3 where I live. Given the constraints, I'm not sure we're going to do much better than that, although if things get moved around, we might move a little further north. But we all know when you get this far into a map, it's very hard to make changes because you can't change one district, you have to change multiple districts, and trying to keep the population even becomes very challenging at that point. I'm pleased that Pine Hills is asking for one commissioner because that was one sort of ghost haunting us, that in previous cycles they'd asked for 2 commissioners and being divided. And the last comment is on, we have these urban areas continuing into unincorporated areas. You know, the city of Orlando has an arbitrary boundary wherever its annexation stopped, but there's continuity in terms of the type of development. And the people out on the other side, outside the city of Orlando limits, want the same services as the people on the other side of this invisible line running through the real estate at some arbitrary point. You know, that's not necessarily discernible to the human eye, it's just wherever the annexation process stopped. And trying to provide city services to an unincorporated area has a tax-based problem. And what I think the role of the county commissioner should be is to encourage the areas to incorporate or annex. And I think a model for that is what I heard yesterday at the County Commission about the area, the process for businesses. The name escapes me at the moment, but I wouldn't take it over, but I would at least model it after that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Callahan. Our next speaker, so were you appointing, was David, is David back there? No, it's somebody else? Okay, and we have, okay. Well, Mr. David C., we have your card. We'd love to hear from you. My last speaker card is for Ms. Ann Hill Mitchell. If you wanted to participate in the public comment portion of this meeting and haven't had the opportunity, we'd like your public comment card so we can have you participate.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Ann Hill Mitchell. I live at 5537 Redbone Lane, Orlando, Florida, which is located between Lake Sparling off of Clark-Corner-Coe Road. I don't like this Henry 3 because it divides our small neighborhood into two separate districts. I like Henry 2, Spear 5 and Spear 6, and Washington 2. When I think back on the commissioner that's in District 2, which is Christine Moore, when she first started running for commissioner, she walked our neighborhood. It was like 6:30 in the evening, dark, knocking on our doors, shaking our hands. I've been here since 1999, the first time I've ever seen anyone knock on my door and introduced herself. When she stepped in, up until today, she has backed her word. She's worked hard, she pulled us together, and I tell you, the people of Clark-Corner-Coe, if you know how hard we work to get where we at now, we know each other. We can get on the phone, we can call each other, and we are there because of Christine Moore. So I ask of you all to please think about this, because I know that like you all have a job to do, but we have one too. And this lady has backed us. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mitchell. At this time, we have no further requests to participate in the public comment portion of our meeting. I want to thank you all for participating in the public comment and attending. And at this time, we will close the public comment portion of our meeting. Oh, we've got one in the back. Way to make it happen, folks. We have one last public comment request. If you know that your sheet in her hand, you might want to go ahead and move towards the podium. Bobby, I promise won't be long. Member Olszewski said we already gave them a chance. All right, we have Mr. Kenneth. I cannot read this. Please help me. Dwire. Come on, it's your turn, Mr. Dwire. Yep, we held a public comment just for you, sir. No pressure. If you'll give us your name and your address, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Yes, Kenneth Dwire from 4801 Malarkey Street, Orlando, Florida, good old Pine Hills. And the reason I am here to say that we have submitted a map which I think fits in exactly what the county commissions have been supporting. The 4050 plan, Pine Hills was designated as part of the urban core. And I believe that that map allows us to be part of the generation of economic development that we need in Orange County. And I think that supports the Pine Hills Initiative. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and we appreciate your brevity. All right, at this time, we are concluding the public comment portion, but Commissioner Scott, I take it you wanted to greet us. Okay. We're not going to give you 3 minutes, but we know you like to be verbose, so we got about 6 maps.
6 minutes? Well, I ain't going to try to do 6 minutes. Good evening, board members. Hold on one second. Again, as always, thank you for your time. Like I said, I will be brief. I've passed out 2 documents. The first document is pretty much an abbreviation of what a new commissioner would get when they are elected. And so I'll just read it for the record. The mayor, board of county commissioners, and the comptrollers are paid a daily rate for a 14-day pay period, which ends on Friday. While this pay period is different from the pay period established for non-elected individuals, the payday is the same for both. In addition, county commissioners receive a monthly travel allowance on the second pay of each month in the amount of $625. This payment is authorized by Orange County Administrative Regulation 710, dated June 27, 2006. It's my mom's birthday. The amount is based on Orange County OMB's mileage reimbursement of 0.625 times an estimated 1,000 business-related miles per month. Obviously, IRS has changed the rate, so it's like more like 70 cents, but I just wanted to give you information on that, which I'll talk about in a moment. The second is a route sheet from Saturday of the events I did. You know, a bunch of book bag giveaways, events I tried to make but couldn't. But as you can see, I had 7 stops, and I was trying to make a couple others. In the last meeting, you talked about, the size of a district and how far a commissioner should have to travel, and they shouldn't have to travel to this distance or that distance. I travel a little bit more just based on things that I want to accomplish, and then also when to cover for the mayor. So I may travel anywhere outside of the district to support him in the mayor, vice mayor role. And so as you think about these districts, I don't want how far a commissioner has to travel to weigh heavily on your decision, because I know what I signed up for. And I didn't sign up to only travel between this distance and that distance. I didn't sign up for a 9 to 5. I didn't sign up for 7 to 4 or only on weekends and don't call me on Sundays. I signed up for a role that is 24/7 of showing up. And even if I couldn't show up, at least making the effort to show up. As I shared with you, you had like kind of my route plan. This is something my staff and I came up with to make sure I get places on time, because I'm a talker and I can be long-winded. And so as you can see, hey, you need to leave at this time to travel time to get to this event and that event. But in all of that, I was dealing with preparing for our board meeting that was quite heavy. Saturday, one of the young men who I started mentoring in 2009 was shot. And so then I spent Sunday night after 3 events at the hospital. From 9:45 was the honor walk, 10:30 was the procedure for organ donation. But like our jobs don't fit in a box of, hey, you're going to drive this many miles and you're going to spend this much time, 40 hours, 50 hours a week. It is about who shows up consistently, who wants to be in the fight with and for the people consistently. And so the lines can be a circle, they can be a box, they can be a triangle. It means nothing if you don't have someone who wants to show up for you. I've had some engagements with some of you, and I think 9 times out of 10, if I'm running late, I'm texting you or I'm having my staff email you, hey, I'm running late, and this is why. I don't want to give a generic excuse to say, hey, my schedule doesn't permit just because I can. I want you to know that I wanted to be there, and circumstances or life happened and I couldn't. Today is my youngest son's 21st birthday, and he just texted me, what's the move? Because he's hungry, basically. He wants me to go take him somewhere and get some crawfish. But it's important that we have people in elected roles that are willing to show up when the need arises and not when their schedule dictates. I show up. And all my other commissioners, to include Commissioner Uribe, we show up. She had like a bunch of I think she was 300 book bags you were packing, 800 backpacks. And then after the county commission meeting on Tuesday, you all know, which was several hours, I left here. I went to FAMU Law College to meet with the trustees and the new president. And then I went over to Pine Hills and had that meeting. I left Pine Hills, and so at 8:15, I'm getting stuck in a flood on Powers Drive because I offered a ride to some folks in this room today because they were paying for an Uber. And while I'm doing that, I'm pulling over the road. Hey, listen, there's a flood. I didn't know nothing about this. You need to send somebody right now because I want to show up. That's in me to do. I think that's in other folks to do. And so I don't want folks to lose sight of it because a district doesn't look this way or that way or because it's maybe 10 miles instead of 15 miles. Let's focus on people who will show up because I think that's the most important thing that matters to anybody. Are you going to show up for me? The line can be on this street or that street, but it means nothing if you don't have somebody that's going to show up for you. And so, again, as I've said many, many times, you all could be anywhere, but you chose to be here. And so I'm grateful for the time that you have dedicated to this process, the time in this meeting, and probably the prep time to read emails. But I'm grateful to each and every one of you, not just my appointees. But when I vote for somebody, regardless of party, I'm looking for someone who's going to show up. And likewise, because I'm here, the vote as it relates to immigration, if I thought for one moment my actions would free anyone at Orange County Jail or any other detention facility, I would 100% be against it. But I know practically that's not going to change, and that would prevent me from showing up from other people. We had an elected official that had a lawsuit, fought for the lawsuit, won, and said, hey, you're right, but can't do anything about it. And so it's always important to me that I show up for the people that put me here. So as you think about these lines, just remember the most important thing, whether the line is here or there or anywhere else, is are we going to vote for someone and support someone who's going to show up for you consistently? Because anybody can show up, but not people can be consistent. So again, thank you for your time. I think I was right at 3 minutes or whatever. I don't know if someone was timing me. I'm going to time
Something
myself
like that.
next time. Was I about 3 minutes? 4
No,
minutes?
but you know what? We're going to keep
Y'all
it
know I
moving.
come from a family of pastors, so I'm trying to work on that piece to be concise
There was
and clear.
there was an exponent on that 3. Rumor has it is that David has made it, and we wouldn't normally do this, but I'm going to give the co-chair and I have agreed to give you the 3 minutes. That is very true, actually. We would have been 3 steps down the agenda by now. Yes, sir. You will approach the podium. When you get there, you give us your name, your address, and you'll have 3 minutes to greet us. And we appreciate your participation.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for your flexibility. Such a beautiful crowd. This isn't my 3 minutes yet. Okay. We can start. My name is David Kaisedo. He, him pronouns. And, my address is 4032 Lake Underhill Road. I won't give y'all apartment. And I'm one of the co-authors of the Henry II map, and I'm advocating on that map's behalf. Our map makes a significant contribution to the discourse that's happening in this space. And I believe it should move forward to the next step in the process here. It was of the utmost importance that we centered fairness and common sense throughout the process of creating this map. Our co-authors included youth from the community, Orange County residents from all throughout, a local geographer who couldn't be here today, and the perspectives of people we canvassed and surveyed in Pine Hills. It was critical for us to create this map to combat gerrymandering, which we know happens in processes like this. And the process of gerrymandering is historically used to disenfranchise poor rural white communities, black communities, migrant communities, just to name a few. And if you don't know about it, we can just look into the history of gerrymandering by studying Anne Braden or looking into the Chinese exclusion acts that have happened in the history of this country. We especially paid close attention to population distribution, population density, contiguity, and historically disenfranchised communities' interests, as I mentioned. And an example of where we used population density for consideration over surface area, which I think connects to Commissioner Scott's previous points, is if you look at the size of District 5 versus District 6, that's a place where density and size are just not congruent. And especially in closing, I live in District 3, according to the map that we created. I like this map that we created because in District 3, which is where I will be represented, you can always find me on Mills, you can find me hanging out on Colonial, you can find me on Bumby, and the Mills 50 corridor was really taken into consideration to be in the district it's historically been in. And same with the Milk District, right? We made sure that neighborhoods were able to not be split up and that they actually received equal representation. So I hope y'all take this into consideration. Thank you for your leniency and flexibility. It's much appreciated. Take care, y'all.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, we have officially, for real this time, closed our public comment portion of the meeting. And thank you all for indulging, but I do think it's important to accommodate where we can those who want to participate. The next item on our agenda is the review and approval of the minutes. Do you have the July 30, 2025 minutes before you, members of the committee? Are there any requests to make any amendments, or are there any motions to approve the minutes? Approval. I have a motion by Co-Chair Perez and a second by Member Alphonse. Any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries with an absent. All right, we are going to move to administrative and review of schedule. Attorney White.
Thank you. Good evening. One thing, I just wanted to ensure that the clerk marked, I thought I saw Member Callahan walk in. I just wanted to ensure he was marked present. Okay, thank you. I also wanted to remind you all that the deadline for submitting any amendments to our accepted maps is August 12th. So you still have time to do that if you would like to. And after tonight, we will have no more maps to go through. So I think tonight's meeting would be a good time for you all to come to a consensus on the number of maps you would like to formally recommend to the board. So that's it for me.
Thank you. And just to clarify, no new maps, but we are accepting amendments to the maps. So just moving forward. Ms. White, Mr. Scraven? I'm sorry, Ms. Williams, sorry.
Just a reminder that the next meeting is next Tuesday, August 12th, here in the chambers, and I think that will be the time we will have, for the board members at that time, we will have a consultant present so that we can, or you can, begin deliberating and making changes to maps. And I think that is it for the administrative matters. Scott, is there anything? I don't have anything.
Thank you. We do have the consultants online in case there's any questions for them, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Mr. Callahan, Member Callahan, I see you in my queue.
The deadline on the 12th, is that in the morning, 5 o'clock in the evening?
It's 11:59 p.m.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, so we're going to move on into the presentation maps. I just want to acknowledge something. The co-chairs were not anticipating there being a decision among the body tonight on number of maps. So I just want to put that out for everybody. That's not going to be something we're doing tonight.
Sure.
Thank you.
Of course.
Agreed. So we're going to move forward with a presentation of maps. For those of you who may not be familiar with how this process goes, we'll have the presenter. We'll acknowledge the sponsor. If the sponsor is not the presenter, they will have 5 minutes. The presenter will have 5 minutes to present the map, and then we'll move into 15 minutes of discussion. One thing to note for tonight's agenda, map labeled Jackson 1 has been withdrawn, so we are down to 6 maps, not 7. So our first map up is Kilsheimer 6.
Are you Preston? Okay, I haven't met Preston before tonight.
So this map was prepared by Preston Eade. How do you pronounce your last name? Eade? Okay, Preston Eade, who is 15 years old and has prepared this map. So I'll turn it over to Preston.
Oh, sorry. Hold on one second.
So last week we had 2 young men present. This week we have another young man presenting. I just want to acknowledge that, and we're really excited for your participation. So you'll have 5 minutes. Hopefully you can hit that mark. If you need a little bit of time, we can figure that out as we get closer. But are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
That's fine. Thank you.
So first, I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Kilsheimer in sponsoring my map. I greatly appreciate that, and I appreciate the entire board for their time and service. I know this is a hard job. My name's Preston Eade. I'm a 15-year-old. I live in the 1st District, and I attend Foundations Academy. Tonight, I have the honor to present Kilsheimer 6, and yeah, let's begin. So if we start with population deviance, I made sure to keep it within the 10%. I made a major point of keeping it within 10%. Is it working? Yeah, okay. But I was able to get each district down via the 2020 census between 30 people, or 0.02%. This is just so that there's room for unexpected growth. I don't think that 10 years ago we would have expected Horizon West to grow this much. So that was a major point so that we can maintain growth in areas that maybe we don't expect. If we look over at compactness, there wasn't necessarily a actual benchmark, but I made sure to make compactness probably the second most important thing on my map. And I've maintained compactness. I've made District 5, for example, a bit more rural. It had a bit of University Park. I decided to make District 5 completely rural. So again, compactness was a major thing. Dave's redistricting app had it at 89 out of 100. That it probably doesn't mean much to people, but that's a pretty good indicator. Moving on to minority representation, all but one of my districts is majority minority, specifically with 2 majority Hispanic districts. I did this particularly to maximize representation in each district. So each district's going to have a very large minority say in how they vote. Moving on to municipality preservation, there were only 4 municipalities that were not preserved, those being Orlando, Belle Isle, Winter Garden, and Ocoee. As it goes with Ocoee, it was only the very southernmost tip. Winter Garden was the very northernmost tip that fits more with Ocoee culturally. It's on Lake Apopka. I decided to keep it within there. And then with Belle Isle, it's only the northernmost half that's a bit more urban. Let's see here. Finally, going on, let's see, am I missing it? Yeah. Okay, so going on, this was not a major consideration, but each of my districts is numbered so that all minorities, or not all minorities, all representatives stay in their current numbered district. So the representative for District 6 stays in District 6, District 3 stays in District 3. I don't think I'm missing anything. I'd just like to thank you all for your consideration. I greatly appreciate that, and that's all.
Thank you so much, and good job with your presentation.
Thank you.
Mayor Kilsheimer, do you have any additional comments you want to add?
Well, I know that last week we rejected another map that kind of split Horizon West off from Winter Garden and Ocoee. This map, puts parts of Ocoee and Winter Garden together. I remember hearing that the mayors of Ocoee and Winter Garden wanted to be together, and I think that that makes sense. And I like the rest of this map.
Thank you. All right. Well, we're going to move into our 15 minutes of discussion. Oh, I'm sorry, Attorney. I do that every time.
That's
I'm sorry.
okay.
Only the first time I'll forget.
That's okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
Mr. Eid?
Eid.
Eid?
Yes.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
I just want to clarify, similar to last week, there seems to be a sort of misconception about majority-minority districts. So under this plan, and again, when we're evaluating whether a majority-minority district exists, we are looking at the citizen voting age population. So under this plan, District 4 is with a Hispanic voting age population of 40.95%, is not a majority-minority district, but instead an access district. Same applies to, well, actually, for District 7 under this plan with a population of 56.27%, that would actually qualify as a majority-minority district because the Hispanic demographic is over 50%. So I just wanted to clarify that one concept. As Mr. Eid stated, this map is well under the 10% threshold at 0.02%. The numbering is compliant with the statute and the charter, and as I've said before, newly drawn District 7 is subject to the initial abbreviated term of 2 years. The boundaries are contiguous of each district. The districts are fairly compact. I would note that proposed District 1 does have some slight jagged edges, and if this map were to be advanced, I would like to hear more about the justification for that. If the justification is through utilization of the traditional redistricting principles, then that's totally acceptable. As Mr. Eid stated, Belle Isle, Ocoee, Orlando, and Winter Garden are the only municipalities that are split under this plan. The census designated places that are split are Alafaya, Conway, Hunters Creek, Lake Butler, Lake Hart, Lockhart, Oak Ridge, Pine Castle, Pine Hills, Sky Lake, and University are split. Existing districts 2, 3, and 5 generally retain their cores. All the incumbents remain within their districts. And in summary, this plan indicates a successful balance of the race-neutral traditional redistricting principles. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Wayne. My apologies again for being out of order. We are now going to begin our 15 minutes of discussion among our committee members. At this time, if you would like to share comments on Kilsheimer 6, please indicate in the queue. We will start with Member Affont.
Good evening. Thank you for your work, but I have to let you know why I'm going to vote it down. First of all, District 6 in your map has a 6% African American. That is completely unacceptable to many members on this committee. Also, we're ending up with really one Hispanic district, and the other one, like Ms. White said, is not truly Hispanic. I applaud you trying to get it down to 2%. That is not the biggest concern I have here. It's keeping the communities together. Having a map moving forward with no black district is a no from the starter for me. So just wanted you to know that. Thank you.
All right, next I have Member Spears.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I also share Member Affont's concerns, and when looking at the communities, we were given the dot map as a way to assess which communities are concentrated together. And, there are some communities, and specifically around the Pine Hills and the western part that are overwhelmingly African American. And whether that's because of past redlining or from a preference for people to live in a community that they share values with, I don't know. But whenever that happens, I feel that it's very important that we acknowledge that this is specifically a ethnic community that deserves representation, or at least deserves to be kept together so that their representation is not diluted. So that's my biggest beef with this map. And and really to come up with no districts that are a African American plurality, I think is is kind of a non-starter. Other than that, it seems okay, but that to me is a fatal flaw with this. So, thank you.
Next, I have Member Callahan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First comment I have is I would like to see District 6, if it's going to represent Pine Hills, still be called District 6. I think there's historical significance of that. So the numbering here, the area that covered by primarily District 6 is now called District 3. Look at the map, the majority and plurality map, page 4 of the analytic report goes into that. And so District 1 becomes District 6. The new district that's in Winter Garden becomes District 1. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's moving around here. The old District 3 now becomes District 7. And so the numbering doesn't really kind of stay. Only District 2 and District 5 keep kind of semblance of a number that they had before. So that's the first thing. But I would encourage everyone to look at the voting age population on the majority plurality map. And it's very concerning that on the black population for the districts, the highest would be 31%. And one of my concerns I have, you start dividing these districts up too much, you're not going to have a black person sitting on our county commission. And so I think that's a fatal flaw. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Callahan. I don't have any further requests to speak in my queue. Are there any others? Is there a motion regarding Kilsheimer 6? If there's no.
I move that we deny the map.
Second.
We have a motion by Member Affont, a second by Member Callahan, and to utilize the wisdom of my co-chair from last week, a vote in favor of the motion would reject the map. A vote against the motion would accept the map. All right.
Madam Chair, can
yes.
I just say one thing? Preston, you're 15 years old. Stay involved in the process. It's very encouraging to see somebody that young coming in here. So I can tell you when I was 15, I was not at a redistricting meeting. So, you'll learn a lot about the history of Orange County, and as some of my colleagues have stated, District 6 in when the first map was created, we expanded the county. We added one district to create District 6 for African American representation, minority representation. That's part of our history. So, but stay involved in the process. The fact that you're here says a lot. You've got a great future, and thank you for working on this map.
All right. So, Mr. Clerk, if you will call the roll on the motion, which is to reject the map.
Member Kilsheimer. Member De La Portilla.
Aye.
Member Arias is absent. Member Callahan.
Aye.
Member Washington.
Yes.
Member Baga.
Aye.
Member Jones. Co-Chair Perez.
Aye.
Co-Chair Evans.
Aye.
Member Spears.
Aye.
Member Affont.
Aye.
Member Pizzini. Aye. Member Henry. Motion passes to reject.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Eid, for your participation. Moving right along, we're going to go with Spears Map 5. Member Spears?
While he goes up there, Mr. Wright, I want you to think about UCF for your college. Just want to put that out there to you.
You're going to need to turn your mic on.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Ms. Chair. And this map was created by Calvin Pham, who we have met before. And I understand that Mr. Pham has a presentation, so I'll turn it over to him at this point.
Thank you, members of the committee. Yep. And thank you, Mr. Spears, for sponsoring me again. What I want to present to you today is more or less a comparison to the map that I had previously presented to the committee, and to explain how all the comments that I gathered from your feedback during the June 18th meeting were addressed. So here's just a quick side-by-side comparison, but we'll go through it a little bit more. So regarding the feedback from that June 18th meeting, I got a few do's and don'ts, a few things to keep that were in that original map. So that included the separation of Horizon West from the historic communities to their north, as well as a continued separation of downtown Orlando, Winter Park, and Maitland from the rural east communities. Something that was brought up was a desire to see a consolidated rural east instead of the continued split of districts 5 and 4 as they are today. And then another due to make sure that Tangela Park is restored to District 6. A few of the don'ts. Don't be so concerned about the precincts being split. So in this map, there are some precincts that have been split. And don't worry so much about Lake Apopka having a consolidated district around its shores. And finally, don't group Apopka and Maitland. And I believe, if I were to quote that, the instructions were that we didn't want to start a war between the two. So again, there were some core principles from that Spears 4's map that are just completely different. And now with the Spears 5 map, the core principles became making sure that communities stay intact, that municipalities stay intact, that after the municipalities, the census designated places would stay intact. So as we go through, here you can see two maps highlighting the municipalities on the left and the municipalities plus those census designated places on the right. You can also see the coloration kind of guiding you toward how these are grouped in ultimate districts on the Spears 5 map. So this was the starting point, and then you started to kind of color in between the lines a little bit here. I want to focus on the District 5 issue with the rural east. I myself am a District 5 resident, and the consolidation of District 5 and District 4 out in the rural east into a single district and the desire to make that one rural east district does lead you to that picture on the left. And if you were to take a north-south line and just draw it through the county and try to get the population for a district, it comes to about where 417 is, and if you just draw that straight down. If you were to move it to the west, just a few miles, and you don't split up Alafaya, the result is what is presented on the Spears 5 map. Furthering that point, I know this has been a discussion amongst the committee members. When it comes to the population distribution, while it does seem like the district is rather large, the population distribution is the reason for that. So if the goal is to consolidate the rural east into a single district, ultimately, as you see with the populations that are shown on the right side, you end up needing to find the populations to make sure that the district has the right number of people in it. Another comment that has come up in the past is what is happening for Orlando representation. So this picture is removing Orlando. So Orlando has been unhighlighted from the map. And what you can see with that table is that there are two districts that have a majority or plurality of Orlando residents in it, considering that Orlando has over 300,000 people. It was something that was of concern. So I wanted to make sure that that was highlighted here, that there are two districts with plurality Orlando residents. So in summary, all the different comments that were received from that first Spears 4 submission have been addressed. A few others that I've heard leading up to the submission were also addressed. And there were also some people who had approached me after my previous presentation, especially from the west side of the county, who I collaborated with a little bit before submitting this revision. So thank you for consideration.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pham. Mr. Spears, do you have any additional comments you want to share?
No, I would just like to say I really think I like the way that you've preserved, and I don't want to call it the city of Orlando, the Orlando city limits, but rather the urban core of Orange County. So that would include also densely populated areas that are in unincorporated Orange County, as well as some of the other municipalities. So it seems to me that you have kept the urban core of Orange County pretty much within 3 districts. So I think that is something that I'm happy to see. It's also interesting the way that you split up the southwest of the county. But anyway, that's all I have to say. So I'd like to hear from the other members of this commission.
Attorney White.
Thank you. This map proposal is well under the 10% threshold at 0.99%. The proposed numbering is compliant with the statute and the charter. The boundaries are contiguous. The district shapes are fairly compact. I would note that proposed District 1 does sort of cut into proposed District 6, but it sounds like the justification for that was to keep certain communities together. So again, that is an acceptable justification. As Mr. Pham has stated, Orlando is the only municipality that is split under this plan. As far as census designated places, Claricona, Fairview Shores, Paradise Heights, Pine Castle, Pine Hills, and Union Park are the CDPs that are split. Existing districts 2, 3, 5, and 6 generally retain their cores. All of the incumbents remain within their respective districts under this plan. And in summary, this plan demonstrates or appears to demonstrate a successful balance of the race-neutral traditional redistricting principles.
Thank you very much. We will now move into our 15 minutes. If you have any questions or comments that you would like to raise at this time, I ask that you indicate by triggering your cue. I first have Member Baga.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pham, and I appreciate all of your hard work. I know you've been a part of this process for, again, your second time coming up here, and so I'm thankful to see the evolution of your work and for all the work you've put into this. You know, I'm on the east side. I always talk about the east side first, so I'm gonna kind of discuss that here. And I think your map sort of reflects some of the challenges that are on the east, right? It is difficult to find the line to draw here. My concern here is, I think, first of all, I do appreciate you keeping Alafaya together. I do live in that area, and I think that there's a lot in common in those areas. In general, I think I have been more a proponent of the maps that have taken the Lake Nona area part out and split that out rather than putting it into this area. And that's, I think, just because, you know, I do see difficulties. I know there's been some comments about not worrying so much about the geographic, you know, differences. But I think when you are unifying a place like UCF and Lake Nona, it's really hard to do that. And so I think Lake Nona, being another growth center, probably does belong more in the southern part, and that's been kind of a feature of the maps that I've been a little bit more supportive of. So I do have some concerns with that, but if the map does go forward, I'd probably want to see that area kind of divided off to the side. But thank you so much again for your efforts here.
Thank you. Next, I have Member Afant.
I have a question for Ms. White. Ms. White, the District 2 proposal here has a 39% African American and 32% white. That would not be a majority district, correct?
Percentage-wise, no, it would not. It would, just looking at the percentages, it could potentially have the ability to be a crossover district, but we would not know that until a racially polarized voter analysis is performed.
Okay. The other comment I have, basically, and this is something that, coming from 5 and 4, I share your concerns, and this is the problem that the commissioners have presented to us and talked to us. You have a District 4 with an 89%, I'll round it to 90% of what we would call an incorporated area. You have a District 5 with an 83% an incorporated area. That creates an amount of work to these people. Then we have a District 7 with only a 24% incorporated area. This being like my member here from the east side creates a little problem for me to see that my commissioners are going to have to work with a 90% unincorporated area. That's the reason I'm going to vote it down, just so you know. Okay?
I have no additional speaker requests. Member De La Portilla,
Yes.
followed by Member Callan.
This is probably the only map that I've seen that has Ocoee, Winter Garden, Oakland, and Windermere all together. So I think this map is very, it's unique in that regard. It also, you know, the separation of Horizon West is something that is going to be one of the key topics that we have to discuss at the very end. What happens on the west side? This map has basically the west side in 3 separate districts. I like what you did in District 1, and I'm going to support it because of that. I know that there's some potential concerns from my colleagues on the east side, but it's worth having conversations, and I'm going to support the map because of that. So.
Thank you, Member De La Portilla. I have Member Callan.
Thank you very much. I echo what Angel said about District 1. It's very interesting to look at that, and I'm still think about that. A concern I have is that in the distribution, the population, voting age population, you're looking at, we have, we're going to have 2 districts that have a plurality or majority Hispanic. Hispanic population, the county's the voting age population is 353,000 plus residents. And the non-white Hispanic, the non-Hispanic white is about 444,000, and the non-Hispanic black is 196,000. So my concern is that the Hispanic neighborhoods are being diluted a little bit going forward. That's an additional concern I have. I don't like, I just have a concern also about District 5 wrapping around District 4 like that, both in north and south. The shape of that kind of brings a concern I have. And the shape of District 3, a T-bone shape, so to speak, down the middle. I do like the concepts of trying to get the urban core districts set in the middle. That's a good, trying to do that. And I also like what you did again with number 1. So I may not support this, but there's some good stuff here.
Thank you, Member Callan. Member Afon, or is that a?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. That's okay. I have no other requests to speak with respect to Spears Map 5. Member Kilsheimer.
Well, what I'm hearing from the discussion tonight about this map is that there are elements that people like, there are elements that people might have problems with, and it sounds to me like the elements that people have problems with are fixable. This map could go forward and we could work on addressing what needs to be fixed in this map. That's my comment.
Are there any other comments? Is there a motion with respect to the map? Member Kilsheimer.
I move to accept map Spears 5.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Was that by De La Portilla?
I'm sorry, yes, Mr. De La Portilla was the second. Hearing no further discussion, Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll? And this is to accept Spears Map 5.
Member Olszewski? Member Jackson? Member Kilsheimer? Member De La Portilla?
Aye.
Member Arias is absent. Member Callan? That was an aye. Member Washington? No. Member Baga? No. Member Jones? No. Co-Chair Perez?
No.
Co-Chair Evans?
No.
Member Spears?
Aye.
Member Afont?
Nay.
Member Pizzini? Nay. Member Henry? Nay. That motion to accept failed.
Yeah, I move at this time a motion to deny required by our rules.
We have a motion by Member Afont.
Second.
Second by Member Callan. Any further discussion? Mr. Clerk, will you call the roll for and this is for a motion to reject Spears Map 5.
Member Olszewski? Aye. Member Jackson? Yes. Member Kilsheimer? Nay. Member De La Portilla?
Nay.
Member Arias is absent. Member Callan? Aye. Member Washington? Yes. Member Baga? Aye. Member Jones? Co-Chair Perez?
Yes.
Co-Chair Evans?
Aye.
Member Spears? Member Affont?
Aye.
Member Pizzini?
Aye.
Member Henry? Motion passes to reject. Spears 5.
Mr. Pham, thank you so much for your participation. We appreciate your continued commitment.
Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Our esteemed tech team has asked me to remind us that when we are voting, please speak into the microphone so we can make sure that your vote gets recorded. We are moving on with our agenda. The next map is Spears 6.
Sorry. All right, that's, okay, so we're on Spears 5, correct?
Spears 6.
We just did.
Oh, we just did Spears 5. Okay, Spears 6. Can we get to Spears 6 on the screen, please? Right, right. Okay, how about Spears 7?
They have both of them.
Yeah, okay, Spears 7. All right, this is the one.
Wait a second.
Okay, but we have to do 6 first.
Correct.
Right, so let's do 6.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is one that Mr. Staccardo has been working on with some other folks, and so I want to turn it over to him.
Thank you, Mr. Staccardo.
Okay, may I get that? Okay, cool. This is a variant of Commissioner Affont's map. You'll notice really the only big change, let me make sure, is I took this section and moved it out to 520, which is and north of, and I took this section to be part of 4. And the reason I did that, the District 1 and 2 over here, let's see which one. 1 and 2 and 6 are exactly the same. I didn't change anything. This got tweaked somehow by about 200 people. I don't know why. Winter Park and everything is still complete. There's only one broken up, and that's the city of Orlando, and actually Ocoee get a little chopped on the very bottom. The reason why I did this was to try to equalize the areas, and also I am from District 5 and I'm aware of all the issues going on out there. District 5 has a bunch of water issues, they have a lot of homeless issues, and it's continuing with other issues. And on top of that, there's also the whole Wedgefield issue here. And that problem, I figured we need a balance between, District 4 currently is a pretty stable, from a growth standpoint, it's pretty much grown out to what it currently is, the Alafair Trail area and Avalon. So I figured, let me give some of the issues down to District 4, try to separate the two so the commissioners, whoever represent, can balance the issues between the two, so it doesn't overwhelm any one commissioner. The area south of 528 is basically about 200-300 people living down there and a bunch of cows currently. The numbers on this, next page please, are very close to what Mr. Affont's map came up as. Do I do this? I guess I do. Oh, is it? Okay. There. Oh. Yeah, that's it. It's basically it's 3 Hispanic, 3 non-white, and 2 black. The problem that I see with this, and actually anything that's trying to get 2 black districts, is the percentages are getting kind of low. 40% and below is getting a little dicey. So that's one of the problems with this map. You would have to tweak that to get some more population. District 6 is undergoing change as we speak. But generally that's what this map is about. It's just a variant of, it's version 2.0 of Mr. Affont's map. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Spears, do you have anything else you want to add to that?
No, not at this time, thank you.
Okay, Attorney White.
Thank you. This map is below the 10% threshold at 5.37%. The proposed numbering is compliant with the statute and the charter. The proposed boundaries are contiguous. The district shapes are fairly compact. Orlando is the only municipality that is split under this plan, and Azalea Park and Meadow Woods are the only census-designated places that are split. All existing districts generally retain their cores under this plan, and all of the incumbents remain within their respective districts. And in summary, this plan demonstrates a successful balance of the race-neutral traditional redistricting principles. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney White. At this time, we'll proceed with our 15 minutes of discussion on Spears Map 6. If you would like to comment on this, please trigger the cue. I first have Member Afont.
Since my name was mentioned, I feel compelled to answer.
You inspired me.
Thank you. I wish my wife was hearing that. If this map goes through, I don't have to modify my map. That's what I would like to say. I can live with the splits of Azalea Park and Meadowwoods. Realistically, it does correct some of my defects. I'm man enough to admit that, okay? Okay. Hey, the map that passed the last time was my map modified too, so I'm man to admit that the modification was better than mine. So I can live with this map, and I'm going to be honest, I'm going to vote for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Afont. Member Baga.
Thank you so much, Co-Chair. I just wanted to, can I ask a question, Mr. Staccardo? How's it going, Gene? Thanks for doing this.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Quick question for you. Where does Sunbridge and whatnot fall? It's a little hard for me to tell sometimes because it's not all drawn out on this. Does that fall in with Lake Nona here?
Sunbridge is, it actually is, it's in District, the pink 8, it's in 8, because where, you see 5, oh shoot, where's that thing?
Yeah, I see it now. So it's just,
Yeah,
so everything south of
this is the
Beeline.
Beltway right there, it's going to be right there, Sunbridge. So it's well within that district. So all the growth over the next 10 years is going to be in this area, along with all this. So, yeah. So
Okay.
District 8 is going to change in 32, along with the rest of them.
Sure. Thanks so much. I just wanted a little clarification on that, but I do appreciate you keeping Alafaya together to the extent you can.
Yeah, I tried. I mean,
I next have, I believe it was Member Callahan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. District 5 still has that finger that goes down towards Orlando. It's got like a little kind of a jutting finger between Districts 3 and District 7. Doesn't look compact at all to me. That's a problem I have with this. I think some tweaking could be done possibly. But you have District 7 goes from an areas that go north of Pine Hills all the way over to almost 436. Not as compact either. You can make some changes there. There's some low population on District 2 that could pick up part of what you have as District 7. But I think the one thing we've heard early on in this process is the fingering of the inclusion of people in downtown Orlando in the same district as people as Bithlo, and this kind of continues that trend which we're trying to get away from.
Thank you, Member Callahan. Member De La Portilla.
Yes, I've got a question for both Mr. Staccardo and Mr. Alfont. My question for Mr. Staccardo is, this map is shaped like the your District 5, is that the green area?
yeah, the dark green, yeah. Forest green?
Is your comparison to the Alfont map, is it the Alfont map 1 or the Alfont map 2 that passed last week?
That was one.
Your first one, okay.
Yeah.
So Your District 5 is a very long, it's shaped like the state of Florida somewhat, right?
Well, yeah, was inspirational.
Okay. And my question for Mr. Alfont, are you not concerned about the distance between the southeastern point of that district and then the far west here? You're going across practically all the county. What's the travel time, the distance between one side of the district to the other? Is that not?
It would be horrendous if you had to do it. I mean, I'm sorry. Do you
Right.
want me to speak?
Member Alfont.
To be quite honest, it's more or less the same that it is right now. There's very little, I'm sorry. There's very little difference. This is basically 5 present, with the exception that it has part of 4 in it, but technically this is 5, well, wait a minute. Winter Park is not in this district.
No, it's not. No, I separate it out, and I'd like to touch on what Tom had said in this map. One of the things that Commissioner Uribe had said to me early in the whole thing was they wanted more of a balance between the urban and rural and city versus non-city. So this map actually gets a little more city, and that's why that little bit over in the urban area is there. Just to it gives about 1.5% more urban, which it's a little easier for a commissioner to deal with from all the issues that we're having out on the east side. So that's why, and the majority of the population really is basically 419, if you're familiar with that, westward. Everything, one neighborhood in Winter Park area is equal to the population to the west of, the east of that area. So there's 150 people down in that little tip down by Osceola. There's maybe 2,000 people in that whole section near Tosahatchee, if you're familiar with Tosahatchee area, over here. This is Christmas. Biffalo's right in this area. So it's not a huge population. The population density is right here. So the vast majority of the travel. Now, there's a lot of issues here because of poverty and homeless issues.
Right.
And that's what the majority that's, I work with the commissioner as a volunteer, and I see a lot of activities with people having issues with septics and bad water and things like that. So it's.
Yeah, my comments to the board are, the west side is clean and it's consistent with other maps that we've seen. We're going to probably need a Frankenstein approach to creating some of these maps, but there's one thing that's, I look at the data, I've been looking at the data, I've been very specific about data. If there's an intent to create a second minority African-American access district or a second African-American majority district,
right here.
Winter Park and Maitland and downtown Orlando need to be in one district. Because otherwise, I've been working on these maps for 6 months and I've got a lot of data. The center part of the county, if you keep the center part of the county with Maitland, Winter Park, that I-4 corridor, and then downtown Orlando, then you can create a second minority access district. You can leave the west side the way it is, but it's what happens in the middle that's critically important, I think.
Yeah, right in this area right here.
So I like parts of this map, and I could support it moving forward, but just members, if there's an interest to create that second district, second African-American district, we're going to have to work on something in the middle, in the center part of keeping Maitland, Winter Park, and North Downtown in one district, and then we can create a second district can be created just north of that, and then we can work on the east side. So I can support this map because there's some workable parts, but
yeah, my biggest fear is the staleness of the data from the census is 6 years now, and we've had 160,000 people move here since then. So the tightness of how you draw this is important because our data is already kind of sloppy because we don't know and that area particularly is changing. You grow on the west side and it's changing and the east side's changing. So it's getting eaten on either side. So I think when you draw it, when you guys draw this, draw that heavier percentage of African American than not, because I think things are changing there and we don't have the data to support any of that. That's just my feeling. driving around this county a lot.
All right, Member De La Portilla, thank you. I next have Member Callahan.
I just want to say something positive to Gene. Gene, currently out in the east part of the county, we have 2 districts that serve that area, District 4 and District 5. So this map is one of the few maps that we've seen where we have continue that 2 districts serving that area. That seems to be a big battlefield going on in the future in the east part of the county. What rate, if any, do you convert raw land into homes? How do we protect our water supplies out there, our recharge area? Because the water supply and recharge area is so important to us going forward, probably the most important issue we don't talk about. So I do like what you did there with regard to that.
Co-Chair Perez.
So I struggle with this map and Alphont 1. I'm a firm believer that we need to keep the West together. I certainly understand Angel's point, but I don't like breaking up Winter Garden and Ocoee and Oakland. And I think we're giving up Ocoee in order to keep Horizons West over in that district. And I'm more of a proponent of moving Horizons West south with Windermere across down and keeping Ocoee up into what was District 2. I'm not sure what it is now, but I can't read it. So the part about the West troubles me. I do like keeping Winter Park, Maitland, and some of Orlando together and getting it away from all the rural issues so they've got commonality of interest. But I'm very, very much struggling with the West. And I think one of these 2 maps is workable. I just don't think we need to move 2 of them along because as we get to the tweaking, one of these would have to go. That's all. So I will not support this because of what we're doing out west. But I do like the center core stuff. I think it's imperative that we keep Winter Park, Orlando, Maitland in its own group. But these are nits and gnats as far as how much we're going to change as we move forward.
Thank you. I still have Member Alphont.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Tico, about this. And I think that is something to consider. In my original map, District 7 has Winter Park, Maitland, Edenville, and Lockhart, and Pine Hills all in one district, which basically I think is the right way to go with that. My problem with this, and I'm going to say this, looking at it now, District 1, and I know that, Andrew, you disagree with me, has right now an average of 9,000 more population. And then when we come back in 2030, 9,000 is going to be a piece of cake. The way District 1 is being developed, we might end up with a District 1 that's almost 22 or 23,000 over, and then we're going to have to find a way to cut it. That is something that we also need to take into account. Tico, I think you're trying to convince me that I was wrong the first time around. I appreciate that. Again, I'm not enough to admit when I'm wrong.
Member Spears.
Oh, thank you, Ms. Chair. Yeah, it's kind of weird for me to criticize a map that's got my name attached to it, but I have to do that because, one of the things that I see is that there's no continuity in District 5, and as I've mentioned before, District 5. It doesn't even really have a current character because it encompasses everything from the wildest of wildlands in the county to the most urban parts of our city. And it still does in your map. So in that way, it fails to acknowledge the cultural and economic difference between downtown and the undeveloped rural east. Now, if we've gone through this, it seems that there's a sort of a consensus that District 5, the core of District 5 is the rural east. People kind of see it that way, but when it comes down to population, as you've noted, downtown Orlando is a huge part of District 5, and the suburban parts over near UCF are another big part of District 5. The rural east is probably not more than about a third. and yet people think of it as the rural east. And I mentioned before these communities that are very homogeneous, and I would say like Pine Hills is a great example of that. But we have other communities that are not homogeneous at all, as you called it, Eugene. It's the everything bagel mix, where and this is the part of Orange County that I live in, downtown Orlando. There's not a majority group. It's a very diverse mix of people in our neighborhoods, and I think that the reason for that is because we like living in a community like that. We like living in a community where our neighbors don't necessarily look like us. We like having a diversity of ethnic restaurants to go to, and I think that that's what we should be moving towards as a community. And so I hate to see pieces of my community chomped away so that we can get the numbers for another district.
All right.
So anyway, that's what I have to say. Thank you.
All right, we've met the 15-minute mark, and I think that we have talked enough about this one. Yeah. Is there a motion with respect to Spears map number 6?
No.
Is there a motion?
Because I don't even know I'm going to vote.
I'll move to reject the map.
All right, we have a motion by Co-Chair Perez for a rejection and a second by Member Jones. When the clerk calls your name, turn the mic on, register your vote, then turn the mic off. Don't turn the mic on early unless you're about to be first. Thank you. And just to confirm that this is a rejection motion, so an affirmative vote would be to reject the map.
Member Oshesti?
Aye.
Member Jackson?
No.
Member Kilsheimer?
Aye.
Member De La Portilla?
Aye.
Member Arias is absent. Member Callan?
Aye.
Member Washington?
Yes.
Member Baga?
Aye.
Member Jones?
Aye.
Co-Chair Perez?
Aye.
Co-Chair Evans?
Aye.
Member Spears? Member Affont?
Aye.
Member Pizzini?
Aye.
Member Henry?
Aye.
Motion passes to reject Spears 6 map.
Thank you, Mr. Staccardo. Don't go far. We're moving on to Spears map number 7.
This is a fun map.
Okay, yes.
Oh, this one's a fun map.
This is a
Because
study
none
in
of the others
action.
were fun.
This is not a serious map, this is a study.
We're going to go ahead and
Some
start
might
our
wanna park
5 minutes.
What's that? Okay, thank you.
We're going to start map 7.
Yeah, this is one that came out of a little conversation that we had after one of our previous meetings with Jim Callahan, and he just made a kind of an offhand remark that was really not much more than a joke, and yet,
He wanted to make a map.
yeah, we went ahead and made a map that represents this, and I think I'm going to actually withdraw this map because I don't think it has any chance of surviving anyway, but it does bring to mind a very interesting phenomena, and that is even if you just divide up the county in vertical bands,
You still end up.
you still end up with the same proportion of Black, Hispanic, and white districts. And I think the reason for this is because it's really difficult to not get this mix. This is kind of the natural mix that you would get if you have, even if you have weirdly shaped districts like this, we're gonna get the same mix. If you're gonna get something other than the mix of ethnic districts that we have here, you're gonna have to do some pretty severe gerrymandering to get something else. And I think that that's what we've seen in some of the maps in an attempt to maximize the minority participation. So I do want to withdraw this map, but it does bring up this really interesting phenomena.
We have a very diverse, mixed community here. It's a celebration of our community. That's what this is.
My turn. Thank you for doing the exercise and sharing this insight with us. For the interest of the time of the folks here, we're going to move on to the next map. Thank you very much. Our next map is Henry 2. Member Henry. We waited till you left to call your name. Sorry, my bad. I didn't look over before I called your name. We're on Henry map 2, sir.
Man, y'all are fast. Do I need to step out again?
We try.
All right, I took up a lot of time last week. Not going to do that this week. I'm going to bring up Mr. Severin Charleston to talk about Henry 2.
How y'all doing? Well, first of all, my name is Severin Charleston, lifelong resident in District 6. Hope to raise generations in just District 6, and I am a mentor. I'm a mentor. I'm executive director of a local nonprofit and a former educator for 5 years. And we made this map for the most part because we heard all the concerns about if we could keep Pine Hills together. You know, that's something that we've heard so many times. And also if we can keep representation for our minority communities, if we can have really good representation for our minority communities. So hearing that concern and understanding that concern, we made this map to try to show an example of what it looks like to fairly represent some of the historic communities in District 6, because it is one of the denser areas of our current map that that we knew were likely going to get split, so that this process could happen. So yes, we made this map in the thought of fairness, and especially for community members in District 6. Our map is a variant of fonts as well. We thought that there were some improvements we could make in the areas, especially in District 6. Largely what we did was we took out Winter Park and we put in Orla Vista. There's a lot of relationships between community members in Orla Vista and Pine Hills, and I think some of the same issues as well as far as it comes to flooding issues, houselessness, and gentrification. You know, there's a lot of people who are moving out of other areas or being priced out of other areas around Pine Hills and that are moving into Pine Hills. So we're worried about those issues specifically as they pertain to Pine Hills and Orla Vista. To get into the map in all the different districts, in District 1, you know, we make sure to keep Horizon West, Lake Buena Vista, theme parks, and other tourism hubs. One of the main things we want to think about with like the map is like the economic drivers of those areas, because we know that it has to be both practical and functional wherever the areas are, as well as being equitable. In District 2, we've heard a lot of times that District 2 Commissioner Moore wanted to make sure Lockhart remains in that area, so that was a big thing for District 2. Remains basically the same, but gives up a southeast corner to form part of District 7. District 3 loses Rio Pinar in exchange for Mills 50 and the residential side of downtown Orlando. These areas contain many working class neighborhoods, the airport, and much of Orange County's industrial base to the south. Sorry, I'm reading some notes from our geographer that helped.
That's fine. Just know that you were short on time, so keep talking.
Let me hurry up. Okay. In District 4 and 5, we sought to maintain much of what defines those cores of the current districts, specifically in District 5, where we kept historic features of places like UCF and rural characteristics of Bithlo and Christmas. District 6 maintains much of its southern half, keeping I Drive, Holden Heights, Tangela Park, Paramore, and the downtown urban core, much of most densely populated sections of Orange County, and the economic powerhouses in the middle of it. We wanted to ensure that these communities that are neighbors to downtown, the stadium, the central business district, and iDrive are represented by someone who has their interests in mind as well. And for District 7, I already spoke about District 7 enough. I will go to District 8. District 8, we sought to group the developing communities in the south of the county, where many of the primary issues are similar, where there's a need for balance of smart growth and environmental preservation. In closing, overall, we try to take the considerations of future growth of the county and districts and kept our population deviation within the legal limits of 10%.
Way to finish strong. Good job. I didn't think I was prepared to give him a couple of more seconds. All right, Attorney White.
Yes, just a point of clarification for myself. Mr. Charleston, did you co-author the map with Ms. Wynn, Ms. Jenny Wynn?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So this map is under the 10% threshold, as Mr. Charleston indicated, at 8.59%. The proposed numbering is compliant with the statute and the charter. The proposed boundaries are contiguous. They are compact. Orlando is the only municipality that is split. No census-designated places are split under this plan. And districts 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6 generally retain their cores. All incumbents remain within their districts. And in summary, this map demonstrates a successful balance of the traditional redistricting principles. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney White. At this time, we'll proceed with our 15 minutes of discussion. Member Henry, is there anything you wanted to start with?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Madam Chair. I think there was a question that Co-Chair Perez asked last week about what's the difference between Henry 1 and Henry 2? And I think the difference really are just voices from the community. When you look at the maps, they are really similar, really, really similar. And when you look at the data is pretty similar as well. But to kind of piggyback off of Gordon, some of the criticisms that I do have of the maps that I have sponsored has been some of the data. The numbers are a little bit lower. I know that's not it's not a focus that I want to make for this map specifically, but I just want to make note that is of concern. But considering there were different voices from the community for the map for last week, this week, and we also have the Pine Hills Community Council, it's really important for me to ensure that those voices were heard by the board. And I also think that there are some slight improvements from Henry 1 with this map for some of the other communities. But with that, I'll hush and turn it back over to the board.
Thank you, Member Henry. Are there any other requests to speak on Henry 2? Member Alfont.
Again, my name is mentioned, so I feel compelled to answer. I like this map. As a matter of fact, if I recall, when Co-Chair Perez was chairing last week, he even mentioned that he liked it himself. It's compact enough for me, and I'm really seriously, I think I'm going to vote for this map. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Alfont. Co-Chair Perez.
So when I was voting last week, I was figuring I would advance 1 or 2, and I voted to advance 1. And this map has, for me, the same challenges as the previous map. I think out west, from my perspective, we really need to try to keep those traditional older communities together, and we're splitting them up. And this map keeps Winter Park in that area in District 5 and moves it all the way down with Christmas and Bethlo. And I think the map is workable, but I think we have other maps that are workable, including Henry 1, because by the time if it's our board's desire, combine Ocoee, Winter Garden, Oakland, Tildenville, and those groups back in their traditional roles, and put Winter Park in with Maitland, Edenville, and a part of the city of Orlando, it's going to be too much amending for my taste. So I advanced, I think I told you last week I was going to advance one or the other, and we advanced 1, so I will vote against this map.
All right, next I have Member Callahan.
I share those same concerns. I supported Henry 1 with some concerns about the panhandle and District 5 going from downtown, all that. I'm still concerned, especially with, I asked David this question, do you think the growth in population has been more in Hispanic neighborhoods, white neighborhoods, or black neighborhoods the last 6 years after the census data? Because I think going forward here, you have to be very mindful of the population where it is today, because you're going to have 2 elections going forward here. And the percentages I saw in the plurality map chart on page 4 of this map, 38% for District 6, it raises a concern I have. So I think map 1 is a better version of this. I still think it suffers from some things that need to be fixed on it, so that's why I'm going to vote against this.
Any other requests to speak with respect to Henry Map 2? Hearing no requests, is there a motion?
Motion to approve the map.
We have a motion by Member Jones, a second by Member Kilsheimer. As a reminder, y'all remember how to do this? Okay, here we go. The motion is to accept, so a vote in the affirmative would advance the map. All right, Mr. Clerk, if you'll do the roll call.
Member Oshesti?
Aye.
Member Jackson?
Yes.
Member Kilsheimer?
Aye.
Member De La Portilla?
Nay.
Member Arias is absent. Member Callan?
Nay.
Member Washington?
No.
Member Badra?
Aye.
Member Jones?
Aye.
Co-Chair Perez?
No.
Co-Chair Evans?
Aye.
Member Spears?
Aye.
Member Affont?
Aye.
Member Pizzini?
Aye.
Member Henry?
Aye.
Motion passes to accept Henry 2.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Look at us moving right along, and thank you, sir, for your participation. Thank you for your participation. I didn't say that when you were up there, but you've been here at many meetings, David, and I know that we appreciate your efforts. All right, Henry 3, the last map for tonight. Actually, this is the last map presentation. So we getting through some work, y'all. After this, it's amendments. So without further ado, Member Henry.
Absolutely. Y'all say the best for last? Is that what this was? So as I mentioned, voices of the community are powerfully important to me, but also another important to the board. But when we first started this process, there was one community that came out to every single board meeting, brought students, members of the community council. I don't know if the Pine Hill seniors are still here, but they were. So from soup to nuts, they were here from the very beginning. They're here at the end. I think it's really important for them to give a presentation on the map that the community council would like to see. So with that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Nichols.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Commissioner Henry. And so I'm excited to be the last one in the room because we hopefully will share with you all why this map came about. And as was indicated by Jason, is that we started this process with the commission at the beginning, and we're going to close out strong with what we believe is best for not only Pine Hills, but for the community at large as we begin to start looking at the redistricting. And good evening, everyone. My name is LaTanya Nichols. I'm 6500 Arundel Drive in Orlando, Florida. And Henry Map 3 is considered a people's map. Why do I say that? Well, from the beginning, the Pine Hills Community Council began to start looking at, in 2024, from the people, surveying them, not only the council, but using other partners to help survey the area as well to determine what are the interests and needs of the community and the surrounding areas around in our area of Orange County. So tonight I want to share the people's map with you. I'm going to go through the PowerPoint itself, so we're going to look at some information. So how did we get here? We know that the redistricting process is utilizing 2020 census data, and that data represents 1.429908 people. And as we look at where we are right now, we're at 2025. We know that Orange County has grown tremendously over the last 5 years, and we're looking at somewhere about 1.5 million people that currently call Orange County home. Well, based on this data, we know that we need to go from 6 commission district officers to 8. And that information and where we are has to be split, right? fair and equal representation for all, from 6 commission district officers to 8. And so when you look at the map that you currently see here, it tells you about the 2020 data, the 6 districts, what that looked like then. And so we know as we begin to start going from 6 to 8, in our conversations with the community and with our stakeholders, partners, not just in Pine Hills, but partners from across the Central Florida area, attend our monthly meetings. We typically have about 100 or 120 or so, depending on the topic. And we know that we've gotten feedback from the community at large in Orange County about what is most important across all districts. Well, the surveys that we actually implemented looked at safety, revitalization, homelessness, educational equity, and economic development. And there's just a snapshot of what it looks like in Pine Hills. And as we begin to start getting feedback on those surveys, we started to look at the proposal, and the proposal has been, the information from the surveys has helped us to develop the distribution of the total population. And remember, we're going from the 6 to the 8. And you'll see highlighted here, I have some green circles over some of the district areas, outlining low areas as well as total population that's a little bit higher. And it's because of the density of those areas. Pine Hills is highly densified. There's over 84 that we know of, 2020 census folks that are there. So in trying to work for equality for all of Orange County, not just one particular area. We want to focus on Pine Hills. However, we know that we rub elbows with Winter Garden, Ocoee, with Lockhart, with Rosemont. And so when you look at this map, there are some areas in Rosemont that were missed due to my failure during painting. So those communities, that was unintentional. And it's my hope that this map goes through so that that way we can fix those areas, because those are unintentional communities that were in close proximity that were missed by the painting of that map. That was a challenging process, I must say, and I work with data a lot, like someone said over here. That was challenging because that map, the painting using that tool, was a bit challenging. So I wanted to share that we do have your 2 black or somewhat black districts in 6 and 8, as well as non-whites in those districts that are highlighted there, and Hispanics in 3 districts when you look at the information. I need about another minute, please.
1 minute, yeah.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. And so when you start to look at the information here, I wanted to just highlight some main points here. Our goal was to preserve as many of the districts as possible in working with this map. However, as I indicated, it became a little bit challenging in trying to work with fair and equitable representation for all areas. So we looked at preserving the unincorporated historical Pine Hills area. We looked at preserving the rural areas of Orange County. We looked at what was aligning to roads and traffics, looking at those thoroughfares, east-west, 429, all those different highways that will help our commissioners get from point A to point B when they're doing their traveling throughout the city. And it also encourages potential for new opportunity zones that were mentioned earlier, encourages midtown planning, looking at where we are right now in the central part, the core, and expanding our arms out for growth in those areas. Restoration and development for older communities, as you see there. And I want to thank you all for the opportunity to present this information. I know it's the last map, and we've been through a lot of maps this evening, but just please know that this map is meant for everyone, and hopefully we'll have the opportunity to move forward and massage it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this time, we'll turn to Attorney White.
Thank you. This map, as Dr. Nichols has indicated, is under the 10% threshold at 3.80%. The proposed numbering does not fully comply with the statute and the charter because it keeps an incumbent within the existing district boundaries of what is now existing District 3, but it changes the district number from District 3 to 7. So that triggers an election. in 2026, and it does call for an abbreviated term. However, the District 3 incumbent is entitled to serve the remainder of her term. So to avoid having what would essentially amount to two commissioners serving the same district, my suggestion would be to swap what is proposed District 3 with proposed District 7. Other than that, the proposed boundaries are contiguous. The district shapes are compact. Under this plan, let's see. Under this plan, there are 5 municipalities that are split. They are Edgewood, Ocoee, Orlando, Winter Garden, and Winter Park. The census-designated places that are split under this plan are Alafaya, Azalea Park, Claricona, Dr. Phillips, Holden Lakes, Lockhart, Oak Ridge, Pine Hills, and Union Park. Districts 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6 generally retain their cores. And aside from what I mentioned about the change in the numbering of what is now District 3, all the incumbents generally remain within their respective districts. So in summary, this map does indicate a successful balance of the traditional redistricting principles. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney White. At this time, we'll turn to the dais for our 15 minutes of discussion. Member Henry, we'll start with you. I don't know if you have any comments you want to share at this time.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to thank the Community Council for all the work that you put into this, as I mentioned from the very beginning, from when this was first passed to where we are now. I know the phone calls that you and I have had just talking about maps and different things, so I really appreciate the effort that has gone in to this. There are a couple things that I would mention. It is a little bit of a shock to the system when you look at 6 for, you know, we all have a shape in our mind, I guess, when we think about it. And then when I look at the Pine Hills Community Council's map, it is almost like a radical change for District 6. So that was a little bit of a shock. But considering the time, the effort, and that these are the voices that want this district to look that way, I would urge adoption of this map. And as Dr. Nichols mentioned, there could be amendments that we come back to for this map, but I am voting up on this because of the work and the time that y'all have put into this.
Thank you. I next have Member Baga.
Thank you so much again for all the work that's been done here. I will certainly, I wanted to express, because I always look out east first, my only concern is the boundary between 3 and 4 at this time. It's a little hard for me to tell, and some of that is just the maps that are used here, where that boundary exactly lies. And I'm not sure if, right now it just shows a power line as where that boundary is, but I'm not sure if that ends up cutting off some of Avalon Park or Stony Brook and those areas that are in that part. So I think, you know, there's some interesting ideas here. I will vote to advance this map, but that going forward would be something I'd like to see if we can tweak just to make sure that they're unified in one area.
Thank you, Member Baga. Member Afant.
Ms. White, I have a question for you. You categorize District 8 as minority black on this, yet the difference between the white population and the African-American population is 0.45. There's no way that is a majority district, correct?
No, so according to the case law, a majority minority district is a district where the population demographic is 50% or over. So anything under that is classified as a plurality district, assuming that it is.
And the population of the white community is almost identical, so.
Yes.
Okay. So I would not consider 8, with all due respect, in African-American district, but that's, the concern I have is similar to what you have with District 5 and others, but I do also have a concern that, again, this, to take Co-Chair Perez, this is 1, 2, and now we're going to go into 3, and basically we're going to go into the same thing all over again, and there's very little difference. I'm concerned that you have split up Union Park, and that, yes, that could be fixed later. I'm concerned that the way Pine Hills has been split up, it's going to be kind of difficult to fix that one. So that's why I'm going to be voting against it.
I have any additional requests to speak on Henry Map 3? Well, look at y'all, tired. That food was too good. You gave us too much good food. All right, is there a motion with respect to Henry Map 3?
A motion to approve or accept.
We have a motion for Henry Map 3. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to advance Henry Map 3. That's Member Henry and Member Jones. You got that? A vote in the affirmative would move Henry Map 3 forward. Member Jones, you want to turn your mic off? Thank you. Sorry. That's all right. We're going to go ahead and start, Mr. Clerk.
Member Oshusky?
Nay.
Member Jackson?
No.
Member Kilsheimer?
Nay.
Member De La Portilla?
Nay.
Member Arias is absent. Member Collin?
No.
Member Washington?
No.
Member Baga?
Aye.
Member Jones?
Yay. Yes, sorry.
Co-Chair Perez?
No.
Co-Chair Evans?
Aye.
Member Spears? Member Afont?
Nay.
Member Pizzini?
Aye.
Member Henry?
Aye.
Motion fails to accept Henry 3.
I move that we enter, motion to deny Henry 3.
Second.
We have a motion by Member Afont and second by Co-Chair Perez. I'm the mic police and I keep forgetting to turn on. All right, Mr. Clerk, and this is to reject the map, and so a motion in the affirmative would reject the map.
Member Oshusky?
Aye.
Member Jackson?
Aye.
Member Kilsheimer?
Aye.
Member De La Portilla?
Aye.
Member Arias is absent. Member Callan?
Aye.
Member Washington?
Yes.
Member Baga?
Nay.
Member Jones?
Aye.
Co-Chair Perez?
Aye.
Co-Chair Evans?
Nay.
Member Spears?
Yes.
Member Afont?
Aye.
Member Pizzini?
Nay.
Member Henry?
Nay.
Motion passes to reject Henry 3.
Thank you. Well. I will tell you, I must say that we've made some significant progress and some significant strides as a committee. The work before us continues. We are now in the general discussion portion. I'm going to take the privilege of saying that no map here is perfect, but it was really hard for me to vote against something called the People's Map. So, but also, I'd also like to point out that many of our maps have not originated from people here on the dais. They've been from members of the community. And I want to give a shout out to the members of the community for your participation in the process thus far, and also to our staff and outreach for helping make sure that people knew how to be a part of this process. So thank you. Are there any other remarks from my fellow committee members at this time in the general discussion portion of our meeting? Seeing none, I'll yield to Co-Chair Perez.
Okay, we have 7 maps through. Many of them look the same. Many of them are amendable. If we're going to be done by the end of the month, we need to scale down to working and moving and tweaking lines on about 3 or 4 maximum. So here's what I'll ask. If you will spend some time now and take a look at the 7 maps that we've advanced. I'm correct on 7, right, Attorney Wayne?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's correct.
okay. If you'll take a look at the 7 maps that we've advanced, with the knowledge that we've put together over these last 20 meetings that we've had.
20 already?
20 already.
Oh, we're
So
having so
the
much
knowledge
fun.
that we've put together, understanding what wants to be grouped with what, and what we can do and what we can manage. If there are any of you who have submitted some of those maps that have advanced, that feel as though they are withdrawable now, I would hope that you would communicate that to staff so that we can withdraw at the next meeting. We're not going to, unless our deadline to amend is the 12th. We have a meeting next week, and we're not going to have any maps to discuss next week unless something happens. So it gives me a little bit of a pause to chair that meeting with no maps to discuss when we are where we are. So I would suggest that at that meeting, if nothing else, and I have not consulted with my co-chair on this, and I apologize for that, we actually talk about what are the core principles that we believe. Do we think we need 2 districts in the west side or 1? Or 3, I'm sorry. Are we thinking we want to keep the city core together? That'd be cut Winter Park, Maitland out of the east, or keep them together so that as we start with our processes and our conversations, as we amend in the next couple of weeks, that would be great. I would also ask if we've got some amendments that we know we want to make, let's not leave them for the later meetings. Our consultants will be here starting next week. We will be able on the fly to move and tweak maps. I would rather not do that if we don't have to for 7 maps. I don't mind if we want to do it for, 3 or 4, but if we do 7 maps, we will not be done by the end of September. So I would think that next week, and I will defer to my co-chair, and again, we've not talked about this, and if you do not agree, that's fine. Since we're not going to have any original or amended maps to talk about, it may be a good opportunity to relook at the 7 that we have and decide if anybody wants to either withdraw or just move up or down and keeping those maps in consideration going forward for our amending and our tweaking. 7 maps is a lot. I'm thrilled we have 7 maps. Last time we didn't have anywhere near the number of maps or community engagement, which is so hugely important. I have learned so much in this process. But as we go into next week's meeting, now it's time for the culling. And we've got to do some culling next week so that we can then spend the next 2 or 3 meetings tinkering our way down into 1 or 2 maps to present to the county commission. So I just want to put that on your thought process, and if you'll just take a look at some of those maps over the next week, that would be great. Thank you, Madam Co-Chair.
Thank you. Two quick thoughts. With respect to the prospect of someone being able to withdraw a map that has been accepted by the committee, I don't believe that would be the authority of an individual member of the committee.
They can make that suggestion in a motion, and then we could vote.
Oh,
we could vote on
absolutely,
that.
correct. But I would also suggest that we hear amendments before we start removing maps from consideration.
We can have that conversation.
I think so, too. Additionally, I think that Co-Chair Perez is incredibly correct that the highest value for our time together next week would be to articulate your concerns about priorities on the final construct of the right maps. What are the priorities for, we've heard about Lockhart, and we've heard about some other areas, but in all seriousness, I think that is going to be what allows your fellow committee members to help make an informed decision. We all, I think, have done a good job hearing what the public has to say, and we look forward to your comments next week. But it will be incredibly important, I think, for us to share freely with one another in next week's meeting, where our priorities are in the construct of the correct map. But thank you for throwing that on the fly, Co-Chair Perez. I have 2 more comments, requests to speak, actually 3. Member Kilsheimer.
So if we want to amend an approved map, do we go through the same process of amending it and then submitting it with the same form and everything?
Yes, there was an amended and updated form that was emailed to you. If you didn't receive it, I can resend it
I'm sure I have it.
to you.
I'll have to go look for it.
Okay, yes, the process is the same. And the memo that I sent out includes a submission schedule.
Thank you.
Sure.
Member Baga.
Thank you so much. And as part of this discussion for next week as to kind of our priority list, one thing that's come up, and as I keep talking about the east side, but I think would be an interesting and kind of an important reference point or information point in making some of those priorities known is just how, for example, there's kind of 2 philosophies on the east side that have come up. One has been keep the east side unified, one big district that's rural and can kind of represent those rural areas. A second has been to have that not be the case and to include other areas so that there are more resources, because most of the east side is unincorporated. And so you'd have one district that's representing mostly unincorporated Orange County, and therefore they may have less resources to do that. So I'm not entirely sure in coming up with those priorities where we can get some of that information. I don't know if it's from the commissioner, from the staff, as to how these budgets would actually work, sharing and things like that. I mean, I just think that some of that maybe would be helpful in some of the committee members determining what their priority list would be, especially as that rural and urban divide, or the unincorporated versus incorporated divide goes. How funding decisions are part of that. I don't know if there's any way to get some of that information or something to consider, or maybe some of the commissioners, as they come next week, could speak to that.
I think that we should definitely ask staff to see what they have within the administration that can be informative for everyone. But also, I would encourage staff to ask that members of the Board of County Commissioners, to the extent that they have any particular insight on those issues, if they could provide us that as well. I think that would be helpful.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Member Callahan, and then Member De La Portilla.
Madam Chair, I like the idea what you all want to do. I'd like to have a bulk of time. I would recommend a bulk of time up front with it. And then, that be probably a half-hour discussion or whatever the most, I would think. Maybe it's another opportunity for the 7 maps that are out there. Maybe the sponsors, again, go over their map for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, because sometimes we're getting fuzzy about some stuff. That would help that process, maybe. That's a suggestion.
I like that. Member De La Portilla.
Yes, I've got a couple of questions, and then I want to just respond to what Member Baga said. So if there's an amended map, is there an amendment to a map and it fails, the map is still viable, or the map fails as well?
The map is still in play until it's removed from consideration by action of the board, of the committee. And so it would just be, these would be actions on the proposed amendments.
Okay. Our goal is to have one map sent to the commission, or 2 maps?
The committee has not made that determination as of yet.
Okay. And then my comment to Member Baga's question is, the unincorporated areas are under the jurisdiction of the county. So if there's, the thought that if you include an incorporated area, for example, let's use the city of Winter Park. If the city of Winter Park is part of, the rural part of East Orange County, the city of Winter Park is not, there's no resources that go from Winter Park to the rural side. The county has jurisdiction over the unincorporated areas, and the cities have jurisdiction over their areas. In fact, just something to think about. Assuming that there's a transportation tax that's passed at some point in the future, it is the unincorporated areas that will benefit the most, because the county could allocate more resources. I mentioned this at one of our earlier meetings, the allocation of resources. So if you have, my map, for example, had a lot of unincorporated areas in District 5 and also in District 1. Those are 2 areas that are severely needing infrastructure and transportation dollars. So just keep that in mind. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Olszewski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to echo Co-Chair Perez's comments. I know I'm a rookie here, so I have a question and a comment. I do agree with Co-Chair Perez that we have way too many maps, and I'm very surprised how many maps we put forward. And so I think the expression of aim small, miss small makes sense for us when we're putting on our maps to give the county commissioners for them to ultimately make their decision. I do have a question. If there's no amended maps or maps withdrawn, Co-Chair Perez said we have nothing to discuss next meeting, but wouldn't we have the ability to be here to vote up and down and map and start making lines on maps that we would?
So our meeting for next week will be the discussion that Member Co-Chair Perez just discussed, but the deadline for amendments is the 12th, and so exactly, y'all gonna let me finish? Thank you. It's the deadline for the 12th, and we have to give staff the opportunity to provide the technical report related to any amendments that are provided, and so that's why we won't be able to have them on the agenda for that same meeting. And so while we will be gathering, there's no opportunity to field the amendments, and so to vote down a map before you have an opportunity to go through an amending process, to me, subverts the purpose of our process.
So if there's a map that we've already voted on that we think it's up to the individual who submitted that map to withdraw it, we as a committee couldn't say, you know, there's a map we did weeks ago that probably isn't relevant anymore. We can't make that motion at the next meeting?
Is that your intent, that you want us to be able to not entertain the amendments? I think that we should let the deadline go through and see if there's amendments before we are going through and up, down, because I believe that that's what we've communicated to the public, and that to me is important.
We have, however, and I think that is a preferred, but if there's a motion to delete a map and it gets consensus of the group, I doubt that it will, until we go through the process Co-Chair Evans has described. We could certainly have that debate, but I think we've advanced 7, and I'm fine with 7. It's too many to tinker down and move lines on when we get to the very gritty stuff. But I'm okay waiting until the amendments come in, and if we have some that are not amended or some that those amendments don't work, then at that point in time at the following meeting, because the good thing is the deadline is the 12th. So our following meeting, we should have every amended map in. And we should be able to quickly dispatch at least half of those, I would think, in light of hopefully the conversation that we'll have next week. So I don't know that next week would be a great time to do it, but you know what? The will of this group is what would make those decisions.
I appreciate the clarification. Thank you.
Member Alphonse.
I think we have a short memory here. I was with the committee last year, and your map was number 7 for the record, which was the final map that went through. So we had 7 then, we have 7 now. I think you remember that was your number. Maybe I'm wrong, John, but 13, thank you. So what I'm trying to say is we could go through it, and this committee has gone through 15 maps in 2 sessions. I have the ultimate trust that we have the time and the capability of doing it. I just wanted to say that we work hard and we work good together. Thank you.
Well. We were on our way out of here early. Is there any other requests? It's not as early as it was going to be. All right. Thank you all. Our next meeting is, again, Ms. Williams, our next meeting is?
August 12th.
Can we please allow
Tuesday.
Ms. Williams the
I'm
respect
sorry.
of allowing her to finish her sentence?
Tuesday, August 12th, here in the Board of County Commission chambers at 6 p.m.
Thank you. Now, Member Callahan? All right. Thank you. We're adjourned.
Well, when you make it on your feet.